All right, greetings. Welcome to another upload of Black Bear News, where everything is connected and the viewers are smarter than the average bear. Thanks for hanging out, guys. As of yet, we have not, still not been paid by Rockfin the tips. And I want to, obviously, when you tip me, you want to know that you're tipping me and not a black hole somewhere. So, still have not been paid the tips. So please. Oh, no, I stand corrected. Hold on. Strike that, reverse that. It's good to update when you can. So it looks like we did get paid out, although I have to say it looks like a smaller amount than it should be, but we'll discuss that later. So it looks like Rockfin, I guess, is paying out tips, although it took them 17 days after when they're supposed to pay us. So I don't know, guys. I don't know. Anyways, if you do appreciate the channel, there's lots of direct donate ways that go directly to me and that don't go through a third party, or not, a third party that takes me a month and 30% or more of a cut of what I'm supposed to get. So if you want to donate to the channel and only have a cut of, 2 to 5 or 6%, then please use the direct donate links. They're all in the description box below, whatever platform you're watching this show on, but you know how to do it. And to those that do support the channel, I appreciate you. All right, let's get into it. We got a couple stories to cover today. And this is not it. This is it. First one I wanted to start with. Google and Microsoft recently admitted their emissions are soaring as they build data centers to power AI. We've covered this before. Analysis from the Guardian suggests the data center emissions of Google, Meta, Microsoft, and Apple are 662% higher than they're reporting. That's like 7 times, 8 times, 7 times higher, something like that. 662%. That's a lot of percent. Anyways, let's look at this. Emissions from in-house data centers, 7.62 times higher than official tally. Big tech made some big claims about greenhouse gas emissions in recent years, but as the rise of artificial intelligence creates ever bigger energy demands, it's getting hard for the industry to hide the true costs of the data centers powering the tech revolution. According to Guardian analysis from 2020 to 2022, the real emissions from the in-house or company-owned data centers of Google, Microsoft, Meta, and Apple are likely about 662%. And that is a lot. Amazon is the largest emitter of the big 5 tech companies by a mile. The emissions of the second largest emitter, Apple, were less than half of Amazon's in 2022. However, Amazon has been kept out of the calculation above because its differing business model makes it difficult to isolate data center specific emissions figures for the company. Oh, well, isn't that convenient? As energy demands for these data centers grow, many are worried that carbon emissions will too. Do you think so? The International Energy Agency stated the data centers already accounted for 1% to 1.5% of global electricity consumption in 2022. And that was before the AI boom began with ChatGPT's launch at the end of the year. AI is far more energy intensive on data centers than typical cloud-based applications. According to Goldman Sachs, a ChatGPT query needs nearly 10 times as much electricity to process as a Google search. and the data center power demand will grow. Isn't that always the case, my friends? Where an advance in technology means a huge advance in complexity, which means a huge advance in energy and or externalization of whatever waste, resources, etc. Right, or resources waste, if you want to. Man, I sure need some coffee. And this is all, kind of a big part of what you need to know about where we're going as far as technology and the ability to keep our destruction of the environment under control, right? AI is far more energy intensive on data centers than typical cloud-based applications. Read that. In the meantime, all 5 tech companies have claimed carbon neutrality. Though Google dropped the label last year as it stepped up its carbon accounting standards. Well, thanks, Google. Amazon is the most recent company to do so, claiming in July that it met its goal 7 years early and that it had implemented a gross emissions cut, of 3%. Carbon neutrality. Oh, my friends, the creative accounting is afoot. Because if you believe any of these companies are carbon neutral, well, then you'll probably believe anything, won't you? A misguided metric. The most important tools in this creative accounting. Wait, hold on. Let's go back. It's down to creative accounting, explained a representative from Amazon Employees for Climate Justice, an advocacy group composed of current Amazon employees who are dissatisfied with their employer's action on climate. Amazon, despite all the PR and propaganda that you're seeing about the solar farms, about the electric vans, is expanding its fossil fuel use, whether it's in data centers or whether it's in diesel trucks. The most important tools in this creative accounting when it comes to data centers are renewable energy certificates, or RECs. These are certificates that a company purchases to show it is buying renewable energy generated electricity to match a portion of its electricity consumption. The catch, though, is that the renewable energy in question doesn't need to be consumed by a company's facilities. Rather, the site of production can be anywhere from one town over to an ocean away. And, yeah. And we know that most of these renewable energies are not renewable. So they're lying, fudging, coming and going, right? It's all cooked in the books. Anyways, it looks like, well, business as usual. Let's move on. North Carolina suffered a 500-year rain event. Remember when I said, let me make sure that hopefully my audio is still going. I don't know. Remember when I said that the storms, the hurricanes that hit the Gulf Coast generally turn into these long, slow-moving things that move across the country to the East Coast. And this looks like this has happened again in North Carolina. A 500-year rain event is ongoing just southeast of Wilmington, North Carolina. That's where between 14 and 16 inches of rain has fallen in the past 12 hours. A total of 15.3 inches in 12 hours should occur on average once per 500 years, meaning it has a 0.2% chance of happening any year. And that's, again, the new normal. Another typhoon is wrecking the Far East. Excuse me. A typhoon landed in Shanghai this morning, becoming the strongest typhoon to hit Shanghai since 1949. Currently, the gusts in eastern Shanghai have reached 30 to 43.5 meters per second. In the city, the center is right in the city. Excuse me. Yeah, and they're getting blasted there. And this is an aftermath of the damage in Poland from the flooding in Klocko. Street view image before yesterday's flood and photo taken today of the aftermath. Devastating is a great word for it. This also from Poland. Steve Austin, seems like the roads are blocked. When citizens are concerned about this and the fact that it is getting worse and they block roads to draw attention to it, then they go to prison. And he's obviously joking about the reaction to people that are blocking roads in order to generate awareness around climate change, and people have all kinds of like, well, get out of my way kind of reactions. This is stupid. Well, I mean, we're a little bit mismatched on the timeline as far as like taking precautions or changing our behaviors in order to stop the eventuality of climate destruction, which is now happening in real time in front of us. So we might be past the point of blocking roads as an activist action because nature's going to do it for us. We might be past the point of disrupting infrastructure or even shutting down the operations of, a city or a region or whatever and protest. We might be on all of that. It doesn't matter though, because nature's going to do it for us. And then we're going to, be put in a place where we're like, oh my God, how are we going to function? I don't know. Darn that nature. More evidence that the Democratic Party is now basically the Republican Party. If that leaves you asking the question, what is the Republican Party? I don't know. I don't know. Well, apparently the Republican Party is the party of taking away your rights and full-scale destruction of democracy as we know it. Even though a lot of people in the Republican Party seem to have policies that are to the left of the Democratic Party, which is interesting, right? The Democratic Party is now the party of war, the party of surveillance, the party of propaganda. I don't know. Who knows? I'm not saying that the Republican Party is the one to go with. I'm just saying, who knows? I'm just saying the Republican Party is kind of all over the place, but the Democratic Party is, and there's a lot of evidence that this is actually well, it's not just true, but coordinated on some levels. Anyways, from holding Dems accountable from the left, Dems removed opposition to torture from their platform. Then Cheney and Gonzalez, who authorized and justified torture, endorsed Kamala shortly after. This should make, actually, if you're a Democrat, this should make you upset. This is not a reason to go, see, that's why Trump is so bad. That's not the answer to this. The answer is, oh my God, what is happening to the people that the people I'm supporting seem to be for all the things that I used to be against. Right? Or the very reasons you voted Democrat in the first place. Let me put it this way. So many Democrats out there, or, good God-fearing, narrative-believing Democrat lefties out there believe that, the Ukraine is a just and righteous cause and that Russia is just so bad. It's almost like you think, the Viet Cong are the enemy, and that we should be over, we should be over there in Vietnam, mowing down innocent villagers. That's right. That doesn't make any sense, right? And isn't it just the same? Isn't it just the same propaganda and narrative? Oh, we have to fight against the commies. Well, they're not commies anymore. They're just Russians. They're not communists. They're just Russians. We got to fight against the evil Russians or the evil commies or the evil terrorists or the evil Muslims or the, whoever it is. In fact, a lot of the people that support the Ukraine war now effort were probably against the Iraq war. We're probably good God-fearing, narrative-believing lefties, Democrat voters during the Bush administration. And they were like, oh, my God, what are we doing? We can't do that. Look at what these evil clowns are doing. But now the evil clowns are backing your evil clown. Sorry, Kamala. Not sorry, evil clown. They're backing your evil clown, and you support this. I don't understand, or you don't understand. I think is the issue. You don't understand. Right-wing Republicans like her because she's running on right-wing Republican policies, and you don't understand this. You believe the narrative. It's just red team, blue team. You don't care. You're just go Cleveland Browns or New York Yankees or whoever the hell your team is. You don't care who's running the team. You don't care if the people on your team are all, convicted serial rapists. You don't care if the front office is a bunch of mafioso hooligans. You don't care. It's just your team. What do you stand for is the question. Oh, hold on one second here, guys. What do you stand for is the question. And, it's unfortunate. I've ranted and raved a lot. Anyways. There was also, many fact checks done after the last debate. And after the fact checks Kamala Harris during the debate said, I will not take your guns. There's no assault. There's, I will not confiscate your guns. And then, 2 days later, literally put a tweet out saying, I support gun buybacks. Okay. This is Jeffrey Sachs and John Mearsheimer explaining why it makes perfect sense ideologically that Dick Cheney endorsed Kamala. Let's have some sound, shall we?
I think it's obvious there's basically one deep state party, and that is the party of Cheney, Harris, Biden, Victoria Nuland, my colleague at Columbia University now. And Nuland is kind of the face of all of this because she has been in every administration for the last 30 years. She was in the Clinton administration, wrecking our policies towards Russia in the 1990s. She was in the Bush administration, Junior, with Cheney, wrecking our policies towards NATO enlargement. She was in then the Obama administration as Hillary's spokesperson first, and then making a coup in Ukraine in February 2014. Not a great move. Started a war. Then she was Biden's Undersecretary of State. Now, that's both parties. It's a colossal mess, and she's been Cheney's advisor. She's been Biden's advisor. perfect sense. This is the reality. We're trying to find out if there's another party. That's the big question.
John, what's your thought on that? Do you see any difference between Republicans and Democrats?
No, I like to refer to the Republicans and the Democrats as Tweedledee and Tweedledum. Hardly any difference. I actually think the one exception is that former President Trump, when he became president in 2017, was bent on beating back the deep state and becoming a different kind of leader on the foreign policy front. But he basically failed. And he has vowed that if he gets elected this time, it will be different, and he will beat back the deep state. He will pursue a foreign policy that's fundamentally different than Republicans and Democrats have pursued up to now. And the big question on the table is whether or not you think Trump can beat the deep state and these two established parties. And I'd bet against Trump.
John, I think it's obvious.
Or maybe he's just part of the play. I don't know. Who knows? There was before we get to it. And this is a shocking video. This video is one of the most demented things you'll ever see. A music-based graphic celebrating 45 million Russians being vaporized in the first hour of a nuclear attack. Do you think Russia will just leave its nuclear stockpile sitting here unused if this were to happen? And this is Jake Bro. If Russia uses a nuclear weapon against a NATO country, then this is what will happen to Russia in response. I don't know. What the heck? I can't even watch this. It's ridiculous. But the fervor of the and you saw it in the debate too. Kind of the idea taken on by Kamala Harris and also the debate moderators that, you know, that Putin is the aggressor and Russia is the aggressor, and we need to, you know, this is a justified war. There's no history. Nobody understands what led up to this, and it's just this kind of I don't know what you call it. Just ideological flag waving, rah cheerleading for more war in the region. I don't know that. I don't know if Trump is going to end the war, but he seems to be at least the only one willing to say that maybe there's an issue there with being in the conflict. Whereas Harris is taking the line, the party line, and the narrative, the military-industrial narrative that this is justified. The Russians are evil, and we need to beat them back, and we got it. This is a just cause. Sounds like Vietnam, doesn't it? Sounds like Vietnam. Sounds like Iraq. Oh, this is we got to get the bad guys. Look what the bad guys are going to do to us. And all of it is a lie. There was apparently assassination attempt or another one, and the shooter was caught, and very strange things around the shooter happening already. Apparently this shooter was also in a propaganda video for Azov in May 2022. And apparently he was I don't know if this is a BlackRock sponsored video, but apparently he was also the first shooter was in a BlackRock. So these are all very strange kind of things that are surrounding this story. Intensely strange things surrounding this story. What's this guy's name is Rush. Sorry. Why can't I find his name? Anyways, here he is in this commercial. This is the guy that was, but he seems to be a fanatical he seems to be a fanatical supporter of the war in Ukraine. In fact, to the point of recruiting people to fight in the war. He's in this Azov video. On top of that, here is a video of him speaking to Newsweek. Just a moment. Let me find the guy's name. Ryan Ruth, who is 58, is his name. Just a moment. So this is what he has to say. And I don't know, there's a lot around this story that needs to be uncovered. Here, let's take a moment to listen to this.
Good. I mean, we're battling a situation here where, the Ukrainians and the rest of the world are caring and kind and generous, and unselfish, and take care of one another. And it's just a matter of, we need to stand up for that. That is the most important thing in the world, is just to show human beings that we're kind and we're caring and that we take care of one another and that the world is united so that we feed each other and make sure that we all move forward as one collective whole unit.
Okay. Again, he's using the language of we're kind and we care about people, and these other people are just terrible, horrific monster. Painting it in very cartoon hues, and obviously the story is much more is much different than that, much more nuanced, and has a lot of different wrinkles in that. And some might say that we might be the aggressor in the situation, or we might have pushed them into this conflict. A lot of people say we obviously had a hand in escalating and are still escalate. Right. There was a peace agreement on the table, several peace agreements on the table between Ukraine and Russia that were stymied, stricken, not agreed to because of forces in the West saying, no, we don't want to do this. So who is it that's for, who is the kind and the loving ones? Again, we're over there killing the Viet Cong, because we're just so kind and loving. And it's easy to believe these narratives when you never see the bodies on TV, when you never see anybody coming home draped in a flag, when you never see the casualties. You don't see the war at all. Why? Because it's sanitized and sterilized for your consumption. You never see the war at all. You don't see anything real about the war being, at least not on television, and not on PBS, not on, major approved outlets. So of course you're going to believe whatever they tell you about it, because you know, you don't have to trust your lying eyes. Right? If you were seeing the carnage of the war, if you were getting real reporting, if you were getting real, you know, information about this war, other than what they tell you to believe about this war, then you might actually feel differently, right? It might be a Vietnam situation. Oh my God, what is this? What are we doing? Who are we? This is Democrat Dan Goldman saying President Trump has to be eliminated. And this is frightening because, you know, again, this is not a like, I'm on Trump's side kind of a situation. But this language that they're saying that, you know, the evil people are the people that we need to do something. But do you see Republicans, you know, yes, Republicans are, you know, saying like, oh, the evil commies and screw them and all that kind of stuff. But they're kind of using the same language here. And this is pretty volatile language as well. This is kind of shocking language. So, but again, if you believe that the other side is super evil and they don't, you know, they're subhuman, they don't have feelings or nuance or emotion or any, you know, they're unworthy of your grace, then they deserve to be anything you want to do to them. Go ahead and do to them. That's, you know, they've got you radicalized, right? The thing that they say about the right wing all the time, they're radicalized. The Trumps and the MAGAs and the QAnons, they're radical, the radical right. No, well, the radical left is also saying and doing some very concerning things. Let's listen to this.
Every time he talks, he's putting himself into a bigger criminal hole. But that's not his objective. His objective is purely political at this point. Politics don't work in a courtroom, as I think he's finding out in the New York Attorney General's case in New York, a civil case, and that's going to continue in his criminal trials. But his rhetoric is really getting dangerous, more and more dangerous. And we saw what happened on January 6th when he uses inflammatory rhetoric now, and his recent Truth Social post is incredibly scary for anyone that might be trying to work in government. And it is just unquestionable at this point that man cannot see public office again. He is not only unfit, he is destructive to our democracy, and he has to be eliminated. Every time he talks, he's putting himself into a bigger criminal.
He has to be eliminated. I can't stress this enough. This is not a support segment for Trump. I'm just saying. I'm just pointing out. You really have to be very try and be a little more aware of like who really are the people that are trying to tell you, trying to shape your thoughts around good and evil. Who's evil? Who are the good guys? Who are the bad guys? And what it is that you're willing to co-sign in order to carry forth this message. And you might wonder why, people are trying to assassinate Trump, which is a weird thing to cheer on. It's a weird thing to cheer on. Okay. If he's so evil, I guess just let his evilness speak for him. I don't know. If we live in a meritocracy, don't we just... It's the same thing with speech, right? Like if you are a jerk, if your speech includes, hate and vile and, even illegalities, like why not just let it speak for itself? Hold on one second. I really have to end this. last thing that Michael Tracy said about the assassin, the would-be Trump assassin, said he met in 2023 with the Helsinki Commission, a U.S. government entity staffed by pro-war fanatics like, I don't know who this is. There's a huge abundance of evidence that this guy was a pro-Ukraine radical. Will the sources of his radicalization be examined? Right? Isn't it the same thing? If somebody was going for Kamala Harris or Joe Biden, in wait at a rally or at their house or at the White House, or wouldn't we be all over that as a radicalized cuckoo bird? Oh my God. I mean, which is literally the language they use around the MAGA crowd. They need to be deprogrammed. They're radical. Okay. Sure. What about the left? What about the radicalized left? That needs to be deprogrammed because they don't understand the things they actually believe in. They don't understand. It's frightening. All right, I've really got to sign off because I'm going to upload this. But thanks, guys, for listening in. I'm sure I've made quite a few of you upset, or maybe not. Maybe you agree. Maybe your mind is open to other ideas. Probably a few of you out there, I'm sure. But thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you. And I'll see you tomorrow around the same time. And until next time, peace.